Hey guys, welcome to Zero Forks. Listen, I wanted to start today off talking about something a little bit more serious. Don't worry, we're going to get to cooking here in a minute and have a lot of fun. But I wanted to start off today by acknowledging something and talking about something that's been really weighing on my mind and on my heart recently, and that is this channel's use of alcohol in some past videos. I've been talking recently with some people who are really struggling with addiction. Recently had a good friend. I hadn't talked to her in a couple years, but a good friend actually passed away from an incident related to alcohol. And it's really serious, you know, and I kind of been making these videos thinking, oh, it's just my friends and family going to be watching these videos, nobody who's struggling with addiction. That's simply not true. Now, some of our shorts are getting lots of, hundreds and thousands of views. And so there's a lot of people watching these videos. And the last thing that I want to do is negatively influence somebody into making a choice that's, unhealthy or not beneficial for them. This channel is supposed to be all about friends and family and food and fun and having a good time. And alcohol is not necessary for that. Sometimes it's really detrimental to that. So moving forward, we will not be using any alcohol in this program, whether it's for cooking or drinking or anything. There just won't be any alcohol on the program any longer. And so, just wanted to talk about that before we get started. But one of my best friends in the world is home for just a few days. And I asked him last night, what do you want to eat, man? I'll cook you whatever you want to eat. And he said ribs. He wants some ribs. So today we're going to make some ribs. I'm going to go all out. Like, this is one of my best friends in the world, and he's only in town for a couple days. So we're going to make some out of this world ribs. I'm going to show you all how to do it. Stick around. It's coming up. This is Zero Forks. All right, guys, got me a rack of baby backs right here. I just took them out of the package. Hadn't done nothing to them yet. Listen. We're going to trim off some of this mess. You see this little flap of mess right here? Look, we don't need that. All that's going to happen to that in the grill is it's going to burn off. So we're just going to take a knife and trim that away. Also, I got this end here. I got a bone poking out right here. I mean, obviously there's bones all the way down. But this one, there ain't no meat on this side of this bone. It's right on the edge. So what I'm going to do is go right on that side of that bone and just remove that bone. Okay, there's barely any meat on that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now we got meat on this end and we got meat on this end. Okay, and it's also nice and square, so it's going to cook evenly on the grill. That's a big thing. If you got little hangers off or whatever, it's not going to cook evenly on the grill. Next thing we want to do is remove the membrane. So there's a thin membrane that runs along the back side of these ribs, and sometimes it can be a pain in the butt to get off. But what I like to do is take a knife, and you see how it's just get right under it and start peeling it up. There it goes. You just got to get in there a little bit, start peeling it up. A lot of people will tell you, oh, get a paper towel, you can get a better grip on it. Listen, man up. Grab that thing with your fingies, okay? If you can't grab a hold of that, you need to do some finger push-ups or something, man. I'm out of shape and I can grab that. Come on now. But sometimes it don't want to come off all in one piece. So, just work at it until you get this whole membrane off the backside of these ribs. See, just get it up with a knife, grab a hold of it. Peel it off. There it goes. That's it. I got a little strip down here at the bottom. Just like that. Okay, now the membrane is gone. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Removing that membrane is not 110% necessary. Okay? Sometimes, if the membrane's being a pain in the butt and I can't get it off, I'll take a knife and just score it. Go this way, and then go this way. Now obviously this ain't doing nothing to these ribs. I done got the membrane off. But I'm just demonstrating, if you can't get the membrane off, sometimes you can just score the membrane. And that way you can bite through it, or whoever's going to be eating can bite through it. See? And look here, on the top side of the ribs too. I've got this little flap right here. That is just going to burn up in the grill. Okay? It ain't going to cook good. So just remove that bad boy. Okay? Now we got a nice clean slab of ribs. A lot of people will at this point tell you got to have a binder. Oh, man, I keep finding little flaps. You got to have a binder. You got to have a binder to make the rub stick. No, you don't. If you got a good quality rub, like we got over here, we're going to start out with Blues Hogs. sweet and savory. I hope you guys can see that. I don't know what. Yeah, Blues Hog sweet and savory. We're gonna start with that, and then we got Killer Hogs rib rub. Okay, both of these companies are fantastic. Blues Hogs makes a very good product. Quality seasonings, quality sauces, all that kind of stuff. And listen, Killer Hogs, that's the dude. All right. If you haven't yet, go check out How to Barbecue Right. Shout out to How to Barbecue Right. They got me started on this barbecue journey, and he's a real deal. All right. So you might be asking, why two different kinds of rubs? Well, here's the deal about ribs. Okay, there's not a ton of meat on ribs. So what I like to do is I like to layer flavors on ribs. So instead of just going one rub where it's just a one-dimensional flavor, I like to layer them and get multiple different flavors on one rack of ribs, so that when you take a bite of it, that little bit of meat you got is packed full of flavor and really hits them hard, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the Blues Hog, sweet and savory. Bone side first. Just going to dust that, okay? We ain't going to go real heavy, because remember, we got the rib rub going to go on here too. Don't forget now, get the ends. This end down here. Okay? Now we got that seasoning on. What I'm going to do is let that stick for just a minute and then come back with the rib rub. Okay, now we come back in with the rib rub. We're still on the bone side. We're going to season that side first, okay? Layer the seasoning on. Here's the deal too, guys. What I found after seasoning a lot of things, if you hold this seasoning bottle down here, you're going to get real uneven coating, okay? Hold that bottle up. Here's one of the things. People ask me, hey man, what kind of tool do you use most in barbecuing? And people are expecting me to say a certain type of grill or a certain type of knife or whatever. These collapsible cutting boards. Best thing you can ever buy for barbecuing, okay? They got a cutting board on the bottom, and then the sides are collapsible. You used to have to go to like a barbecue specialty store, but I bought this one at Sam's Club. I've seen them at Buc-ee's. You can get these things anywhere. They're awesome. Grab one up. Guys, a quick note on this. I know it's called rub, but there ain't no reason to rub, okay? We're just going to get that dusted on there, let it sit, tack up for a minute, then we're going to flip it over to the meat side and do the exact same thing. Okay guys, we got the meat side here, so we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to start out with the Blues Hog. Dust it down. Just an even coating. Ain't got to be super heavy. But you want it even, you know, you take a bite of one rib, you want it to taste like the bite of the next rib. So try to get it on there evenly. And hit them ends again. Because you never know, you flip it over, you might have access to a spot on the ends that you didn't have access to on the other side. Okay, so that's the Blues Hog. Come back in next with the rib rub. Again, shout out Malcolm Reed. Dude's a real deal. Okay, so you can see by the time you get both them rubs on, you got a pretty heavy coating of rub on here. Again, we want to pack some flavor into the little bit of meat that we got. Now, that don't mean cake it, okay? Like, if Simon was here, you couldn't even see the ribs underneath all his seasoning. He likes to overseason stuff. I tell you what, it is very flavorful, but a little bit much, okay? You should still be able to tell the ribs, Simon. But, you know, get some flavor on there, baby. Hey, guys. I've got 3 racks of ribs, so I'm going to get the other 2 in here. I'm going to do the exact same thing to them. Remove the membrane, season them bone side first, then flip them over, season them on the meat side. Once they're all seasoned up, I'm going to put the lid on this collapsible tray. This tray's awesome. You could even brine in this thing. It's waterproof, so you can pour the brine in there if you wanted to brine some chicken or whatever. Anyway, we're not doing that today. But I'm going to get the lid on this thing, put it in the fridge, and leave it for at least an hour. You know, I got to go pick up my buddy, so give me a chance to go do something with him. But what it's also going to do is allow the seasoning to penetrate into the meat, almost like a dry brine. These seasonings don't have a high enough salt content for it to be a true dry brine. Brining involves, you know, putting a lot of salt on something and allowing that salt to penetrate in and trap moisture on the inside of the meat. It's not such a concern with these ribs. They have a lot of fat in it that's going to render. They're going to be moist without brining it anyway. But we are going to allow that seasoning to penetrate down into the meat and really get in there, so we got a lot of flavor in every bite of ribs. That's what I'm looking for. Every bite of ribs you take, I want it packed full of flavor. So I'm going to do that to the other 2 ribs, get them in the refrigerator and let them rest for a couple hours before we throw them on the smoker. Y'all stick around, we'll be right back. Hey y'all, I forgot to film putting the ribs on, but I've got the smoker running at about 235 degrees. Anywhere between 225 and 250 is good for this step. So, but I've got it set at 235, put the ribs on, and you can see they're on there. And we're going to leave them for about 2.5 hours. This first step, it's going to be somewhere between 2 hours to 2.5 hours probably. What I'm looking for at this point is pullback on the bones. I want about a little bit of pullback on the bones, about 1/4 inch of pullback on the bones, where the meat actually pulls back and exposes the bones on the end. So we're going to wait for that to happen at 235. It should take about 2 to 2.5 hours, but we'll check back and see where we're at in about 2 hours, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we've been on the grill for about 2.5 hours now, running at right around 240 degrees. So now it's time to wrap these ribs. So here's what we're going to do. I got the butcher paper out. I've got some butter, some honey, some brown sugar, and some apple cider vinegar. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up this butter, and basically all this stuff is going to go in the wrap with the ribs. So I just want a few little pads of butter. If I can get this butter open. Good gracious. All right. I got this butter locked up like Fort Knox, yo. Golly. All right, we're just going to do a few little pads of butter right here near the edge. All right. Okay, just like this. We're gonna take the brown sugar right there, just like that. Okay, drizzle of honey. Actually, I may need to open this thing. Brand new thing of honey. Drizzle of honey. Don't be shy with that, honey. We like our ribs a little sweet. And here I'm going to go just a splash of this apple cider vinegar. All right. I don't want a whole lot of liquid in there. We're not trying to steam these ribs. We just want them to kind of braise in this when the butter melts, and then you get the brown sugar and the honey combines and it gets liquidy. Yeah, oh boy. Here we go, guys. Rack number 1, going meat side down on that we just put down. Okay, meat side down. Now on the bone side, we're going to do the exact same thing. A couple little pads of butter. Brown sugar. Honey. We want this to completely cover up these ribs. Honey, and just a splash of apple cider vinegar. Go easy with the apple cider vinegar. You put too much in there, it ain't gonna be right. Okay, it's gonna steam the ribs, and it's gonna kill the bark that we just spent so long creating. Okay, get that a cut. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap it up. They're meat side down now. Give it a wrap. They're bone side up. They're bone side down now. We're gonna tuck these edges in. Anytime we wrap anything, y'all, I'll go ahead and crease the paper at a little bit of an angle. See how it's at a little bit of an angle inwards. I want the wrap to be tight. Okay. Now we meat side down again. 2 more. So we're meat side down. To finish off, we are meat side down. Okay. Just like that. That's what I want. That's going back on the grill just like that. So it's going back on the grill, meat side down, and it's going to braise in this concoction that we've just created. It's going to be banging, baby. Okay, guys, we just took these guys out of the wrap. It's been 1 hour. They've been in the wrap. We just took them out, got them back on the grill. You'll notice they're bone side down back on the grill again after being in the wrap, bone side down. Another thing that we did was rotated them. So these ribs was over here, and these ribs was over here. That's because all my heat is coming from this side of the grill. So I want to rotate it and make sure all these racks of ribs are cooking evenly. But boy, do they look good. 1 more hour and they'll be ready to eat.
Good God Almighty.
Hey y'all, this done got real dark outside, so it's almost impossible to see the ribs on the grill. But I'm gonna flash up a recipe for the glaze that we just put on. So they were wrapped for about an hour. They've come out of the wrap. Now they've been on the grill for about an hour. Still sitting around 245, 250 degrees, okay? When they start to get done, I like to crank the temperature up a little bit to like 250, 260, even 275, you know, crank the grill up a little bit, just to tighten everything up and get it all together. During the last 10 to 15 minutes here, we added on a glaze. I'm going to include the recipe of the glaze here for you right here. It's just honey, apple cider vinegar, and some spices. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. But what we're going to do, mix it all up, get that brushed on, and during the last 10 or 15 minutes of the smoke, it's going to glaze on there, and it's going to create this beautiful sheen on these ribs. I'm hoping to get some light on these ribs so you guys can see it before we break into it, but they're going to be out of this world, y'all. All right, guys, look at them. Look how pretty them ribs are. There's my old boy, Tony.
Oh, my God.
He already got the bone clean. What do you think, Tony?
These are some very good ribs. I like the spice on them. It's a spot. I can eat a whole slab alone.
He get a whole slab alone. Well, good thing I got 3 slabs, y'all. Hey, me and Tony gonna take care of you, all right?
Ball man.
Yes, sir. This is Zero Forks,
baby. Oh, yeah.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe.